Welcome to in the middle of nowhere, LA, also known as Lower Alabama. We are 20 miles from any civilization. Well, there are neighbors, of course, but we're way out in the middle of nowhere, somewhere between Mobile, Alabama and Pensacola, Florida, out at Uncle Marty's house, which is my sister's boyfriend's 9 acres of privacy. And this is the Dove's Nest, a 2001 Ford E250 with a V6 4.2 liter gas engine, purchased used for $750. Two owners previously. First owner was a pool chemical company, and then next owner was a handyman. It did not do much to the vehicle at all. It did not have the ladder rack on it. That was a later add-on. We found the ladder rack on Craigslist. They were initially asking $150, and I talked them down to $75. And so we added that. You can see some of the old adhesive still on the side of it, which will be my next video after I remove all this adhesive and get this outside looking nice and tip-top shape again. So at first appearance it looks relatively new. It's got 176,000 miles on it. Engine runs like a top. It's got a new remanufactured, well, I guess new and remanufactured aren't the same, but it's got a remanufactured transmission, which is reassuring. I kind of like that because it's been worn in and broke in, but transmission doesn't have 175,000 miles on it. Tires are awesome condition. Tons and tons of tread. Well, I'm exaggerating on the tons, but lots of tread. Not a cheap tire. They're a commercial grade BF Goodrich tires. I'm not fond of the hubcaps. They're a little bit too nostalgic for my taste. So that'll be on the goal of things to do is, of course, the scrubbing the rust off of the rims and getting some good hubcap covers as cheap as we possibly can. Keep the out appearance of it as looking as professional as possible. But yeah, for a 2001, the guy was initially asking for $2,000. Month went by, he dropped it to $15. Then I says, oh, he's wanting to negotiate then. So we drove out to Navarre, Florida, my sister and I. Took a look at it, drove it around the block, and drove really good. Runs good. And so it's got some issues. The main issue is the interior bed. As you can see down here at the bottom, you got all these drips on these side cargo doors, which was chemicals. The pool cleaning company that had to use these chemicals. And this is what the chemicals do to metal. So, leaked out the side and in the back. And looks like that hubcap met a curb, an aggressive curb. Another reason why I need to replace those hubcaps is just they stick out. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just a 3D depth perception, but from the front view it kind of looks like they stick out so far that they would hit the that before the rubber actually hits the curb, that the rim would hit it, but my bad. I still want to replace those nonetheless. And this is where E250 World Ford, Pensacola, Florida. Of course, this is the tag container that holds the tag and the door handle. The door handles are the cables, plastic handles on Fords. They're notorious to break, especially in extreme weather, extreme heat. You just can't get around it. So it was in good condition, but the cables, where the cable actually ties into the handle, that plastic is so cheap that it cracks and breaks. So we'll open up the back here and show you what we've done to the back end and give you a better explanation. The chemicals is what we're talking about. As you can see, it just ate up everything. I mean, literally everything. Long story short, was able to talk the guy down to $750 for the van. And when he had it, he had this plastic, the stock had a little bit of insulation on top of the bed, and then it had this, I don't know, maybe a millimeter thick, 2 millimeter thick plastic flooring. This stuff, it's kind of like, I don't know what it's called, this padding insulation, and then this rubber mat. It was covered all the way in the back, so you couldn't see this nasty freaking buyer beware, by the way. Rip that stuff up and take a look. I probably could have got the guy for talked him down another $500 if I had known. And then it had 3 small holes, like in a triangle formation, where you could actually see the spare tire. And he had it covered up with just a couple like pieces of wood like that right there, just covering it up so anything he had back here wouldn't fall through. So at first glance, without lifting up everything and inspecting the whole bed, and I didn't want to tear up all of the stock bed liner, if you will, removable bed liner, and padding, and ruin it by pulling it up to inspect the bed, which that's what I should have done, or climbed underneath and really inspected the underside. But $750, it is what it is. So in my mind, I thought, you know, I'll just buy a big sheet of diamond plate and cover up those holes. And I ended up cutting out this whole section. Yeah, this whole section over here, right behind the wheel well boxes right here, and cut it out, all this section along the wheel well right here to where these 2 pieces of wood meets this wood. I think it's probably actually right here, because I got to have a lip for this to rest on. So right here, it's all the way cut out right on along here, and I took the grinder and grind it up. Try to remove as much rust and get to as solid as metal as I possibly can on both sides. And then I took this cabinet wood. All the wood in here has not been purchased. It's all repurposed wood from one project or another. However, majority of it comes from a cabinet shop in Pensacola. And where they have projects, one of the cabinet makers screw up the projects, or a customer changes their plans at the last minute, and so the cabinet shop scraps their scrap, and they pretty much throw it out in their dumpster in the back. We happen to have a friend, old family friend of my dad's that works there, and so my dad goes and on a weekly basis to pick up free wood. So recycled, repurposed is the name of the game. We're doing this on a zero budget. I made a propane box container, and let me slide this out for you. I didn't have a piano hinge, which I wanted, but I did have a bunch of these little hinges. So we built the box to fit this little area over here. And as you open it up, my intentions are to cut a little groove inside the top all the way around, and we're going to put a rubber gasket inside of there. So when we close the box up, we'll put some toolbox latches, probably 2 latches, and to sink it down, seal it up. And also plan on using aluminum tape for the inside lining, silicone all of the cracks and crevices to make it airtight. Then I'll drill some holes in the bottom. It won't be on this side. The tank will be here. And we'll drill some holes on this side that will also go straight through the floor here down into the bottom, so if there ever is a leak, then the gas will go down out the bottom of the van. There's our other wheel well cover. Down here is actually where we'll have 3 12-volt batteries. Again, recycled, repurposed. Old batteries, they don't hold a charge. Well, they hold a charge. They're just old batteries. My opinion is some battery storage is better than no battery storage. Now, of course, the ultimate goal is to get brand new batteries, the proper batteries, the one that I'm going to get the most bang for my buck. But right now, some bang for free is better than no bang. So that'll be 3 batteries that'll sit here. I'll have all my electronics. Once I get solar, we'll have our charge controller probably over here on this side, and then inverters, shunts, fuses, electronics will go inside here. I'm not finished with the construction over here. I ran out of wood, so we're waiting on a new trip to the recycle center, aka dumpster. And then we will have a hose that exits the top back here. There's enough room for a hose to exit out the back. And it's going to go up this side of the back, and it'll go over around this side, kind of hidden up here in the top. Then I'm going to have it come down this side, and then it'll go over here for the living space area, where I'll have my Mr. Buddy heater and a propane heater, and the propane cooking toward the cab. That'll also be my electrical wiring that will also go up and around and over the same fashion to provide my 110 and 12 volt. It'll actually split. Half of it will go down this side and the other half will go down that side. But these shelves, the metal shelves, came with the van. They were on the far side, going all the way up and down the driver's side of the van when we got them. Again, those chemicals ate through this stuff like no tomorrow. So this leg right here is missing, so I had to, chop it off. I screwed the two together. You can see we got bolts here holding them together. There's another one here, another one there. Here, there. So it's all the way at the top screwed together. I added another piece of cabinet wood. This is 5/8 thick cabinet wood, all of it. Again, free. I can't reiterate free and great wood. Now, of course, this particle board is only it came from a different project. Someone had a like a backyard party patio bar is what it was, and this was the bottom inside shelf. This was the actual bar shelf at the top where you would serve drinks while you're entertaining people. And this thing right here was the front of it. And yeah, so I didn't have the diamond plate metal sheet to put on here, and that was stopping me from progressing, moving forward with the build. And I don't have the money to get that diamond plate. I haven't found the diamond plate that I can put down there properly the way that I want it to cover that hole. So, as a temporary measure, because I knew I was going to replace it anyhow, I opted to use the particle board as a temporary measure so I can cover the hole and move forward with this build, because I needed to cut this down to get it to fit into place. With both of them, the stock length over here on the side, there was 3 inches too long, so I had to literally chop 3 inches off the whole side. And I don't know if you can tell, but this part here is beveled down, then it comes straight, which means this was actually the back side that fit over here. Well, now that I'm repurposing it to go this way, I had to cut this, bevel this part in, cut this. I had to do a lot of modifications that it wasn't really meant to be modified in that fashion, but overall it looks pretty damn good, I must say. So this is supposed to be our work area, and I want to keep it all enclosed. This area here is intended for a generator. So I plan on putting a generator in the back, locked up, concealed. And then another one of these boxes here, I'm going to build another one for this side that will hold my valuable tools. While it's closed up, I don't want it to be too appealing for any walker. People that are walking by see a valuable tool and want to do what they call a smash and grab, where what they do is they see the valuable tools there on the top of the shelf and they smash, grab, and run like hell. So we want to prevent that. Also, in the future plans is to get the grid. That's the wire mesh. I don't know, it's got like a 2-inch spacer between all of them. And add the wire security to also help deter thieves. So we covered that, the tools, the generator, my sawdust. The bumper was so bad where these doors, there's supposed to be a latch right here for the bottom. We have one at the top. But the bottom one, of course, those chemicals just ate everything to hello and back. So I sandwiched a bunch of wood together. Used these concrete screws, repurposed them. They were not meant for this, but you know, working on a zero budget, what can you do? So we got 3 pieces of wood, 3 pieces of 5/8 inch cabinet wood, and literally cut it to shape. And when these doors close, I have very, very little gap, which is what I was shooting for, to get a real good close fit. Now I'm going to have to get some more of this stuff, and we're going to put it between this gap to get a little bit better seal. But now I got enough room. I'm going to have to put one more piece of wood right here so I can put a latch like this similar to this, not exactly like this one, but put it right here so it will latch in place at the bottom. But right now the top latch works. It's really good. Thank good. The top cable that unlocks it up here is in good condition, but the bottom cable that unlocks the bottom one is broke. So, you know, I don't have to have it, but it would be nice to have that. So while I was putting this on, these are the bolts that lock in the back part of this whole freaking cab in place. The next set of bolts is right here along the frame as it goes up. So the next bolt is there and there. So I had to, you know, cut all this out, make it fit. This piece is actually screwed into this piece. This piece is screwed into 3 more pieces, and then this horizontal piece is screwed into the particle board piece. It is rock freaking solid. Unbelievably redneckified, as I'd like to call it. So on the back side of this whole shelf will be a sheet of plywood that goes along the back side, going all the way up to the roof on the back side of that rib truss support brace, whatever you want to call it. And then it'll be screwed, the sheet of plywood will be screwed to the back support, siliconing it all the way in, so that way if there's any gas leaks, and it does by some freak chance of nature get in the back, it's going to leak out in any other areas back here before it gets into my living quarters, because it'll be completely sealed up. So have an underside look as we got our little trailer connection lights there. No really huge tow package, just the normal bumper. The bumper says it's rated for 5,000 pounds, surprisingly enough. Brand new spare tire, which is fabuloso. The rim needs a little love, so we'll tend to that. If I ever need to get to my spare tire, since I've wooden up and made this false bumper here, I don't have access to my screw jack. And somehow figure out how I'm gonna drill a hole to get access to lower my afterthought, trying to think ahead of the game like a chess game and how all these pieces are gonna go together, and you just don't think about that. And that's gonna suck, being somewhere in the middle of nowhere with a spare tire and no way to change a flat tire. Yeah, so on the list of things to do. As you can see, as we get underneath here to get a better perspective, you can see the particle board right here. And this is where I cut out. You can tell the wheel well ends here. Cut out, you can see the particle board right here, and some of the rust. It's just disgusting. But you can see how it's stacked up, some wood on top of this, just as a temporary measure. Now they're all screwed down together with a bunch of concrete screws. Not what I wanted. I wanted a, you know, a sheet of diamond plate to go over here and cover the whole back. That is my final plan. To this last cross member, here's the real floor. So we're right here at the, you can see up there. Oh, let me flip the camera. The GoPro right side this way. And as we slowly pan up, we got the spare tire, and that's where all of the rust back that I cut out. Let me spin this baby back this way. And this is a fuel vapor container. That's the gas tank and the fuel vapor. Every fuel vapor container I ever seen was up in the engine. A little bit of a tight squeeze. Everything seems to be looking a-okay. Transfer case doesn't seem to be leaking anything. Those, you'd think you'd have drums back here, but they're actually discs. I haven't drove her in a while. It's been sitting here, but there's not a lot of that rotor. Most of the rotor still is there. The pads themselves are ready to be replaced. Those brake shoes that are inside here, there should be a lot more space in between this and this, which means gotta put that on the agenda. Replace the brake shoes, which I heard them scraping after I cut out all of this wood, and then cut out the wood after I cut out all the rusty part of the bed from this point all the way back to literally the bumper. You can see right up in here over the leaf spring where it's all been cut out with the grinder, and I should have done a better job of cleaning up those filings. But I got kind of eager to move forward. You can see that particle board where the wheel well comes down. Another rust hole, but this is the original metal here, but it's horrific. So I didn't cut this side out, but the other side on the passenger side, it's completely gone. That's all there is all the particle board. You know, and I should have gotten up underneath this thing and looked in more detail when I was there in the guy's driveway before I bought it. But I didn't, so shame on me. It was raining earlier today, but I got all that sticky lettering off. Woohoo! It is gone. Yeah. Move this out of the way. All the lettering is gone. Down here where the dealership, they had what was it, World, W, and then a picture of a globe, World, Ford. The actual vinyl adhesive had taken the paint right off. But yeah, all the vinyl adhesive is now gone. That looks a heck of a lot better than what it did, I tell you what. And like I said, it's sprayed back here. We got just to stop and halt the rust, and you can tell the overspray. There's the overspray. Who cares? Hit it with the white just to kill the rust. Stop the rust from happening, from continuing to manifest its ugly head. And that's one coat. We'll come back with another coat. And you see I got overspray here. Who cares? We're just stopping. That's all the whole purpose is to stop it. I'm going to end up grinding more of this down over here and hit it with gray. And then I'll put another coat of white on there to make that all pretty again. And none of this is bolted down, so it can be taken in and out. Dry fitting and putting everything in its place, measuring, and you plan as you go. You got your concept in your head and just keep going with the flow. So yeah, there's your progress update. Built me another cabinet box that is going to be the toolbox. Flies, get away from my coffee. Get away. And on this one, instead of the lid lifting up, I want to make a door that pulls open this way. I don't have any hinges, so I just stuck a temporary screw in the top of it to hold it there for now. And then I also put a door on the battery compartment. Show you something else. Let me move this. In order to get into the battery compartment, it's gonna store the batteries. Let me move this wood out of the way and slide this. Hang on. Did you hear that big grunt that I just made? Bestowing my manhood and my old age. So we moved the propane bottle over, and see how that's just the perfect measurement size. And we hinged up my door. I'm gonna drill a little hole over here so I can stick my finger in and pull it open. And it's a tight squeeze at the moment. Oh, pickles. There we go. And the door opens to give access to the batteries. And I built this, I don't know if you can see it, I built this wooden container so if the batteries go bouncing around, they're not going to hit metal on no sides. And I'll get spacers to go in between here to keep them sliding around and what have you. But yeah, there's my door to hide my batteries and to still give me access, and have my inverter and battery charger will sit right here to charge up the cordless drill. I'll slide this back, and inside that propane bottle container box, I'll have enough hose inside there coiled up to where it'll allow me to slide my box back and forth if I need to get access. And then the toolbox, it of course slides all the way over to the left. That'll hold the expensive tools, drill motors, saws, etc., to keep them out of sight and out of mind. That'll give me access to the generator. So it's kind of a perfect glove fit for everything. Would it be anything else for the backside? The trunk, my little lady hump. Yeah, moving on.
One, two, one.